I'd now like to welcome to the Freight Buyers Club podcast, Paul Page, Bureau Chief of the Wall Street Journal's Logistics Report. Welcome to the Freight Buyers Club, Paul. This strike, how damaging can it be for US industry? How will it affect the upcoming holiday season? I mean, and this has got ramifications for trade with the rest of the world, hasn't it?
Well, certainly. I mean, it's for one thing, it's going to throw schedules and shipping and all of that off schedule, and kind of create more disarray, as if the maritime sector hasn't had enough of that in the past. I mean, it's just going to displace ships, displace schedules. We've already seen a couple of people. I think Ocean Network Express's Jeremy Nixon said that he expects ships just to wait, just to sit off the coast of New York, New Jersey, waiting it out. So schedules are going to be thrown completely out of whack. I mean, there's going to be that's going to have an impact on global supply chains right there. As far as the impact on the U.S. economy, I think some of the impact on the holidays and all that might be a bit overstated. I mean, I think people are going to have their Christmas trees, they're going to get their garlands, they're going to get their menorahs. All of that stuff is kind of in place. Little children will have their Christmas. That's not really going to be much affected. It comes fairly late in the season. People have been bringing in lots, just enormous volumes, especially to the West Coast so far. And so I think most shelves are going to be stocked. Certainly the impact, if we see something that lasts a few days, I think the impact will be, as the journalist word goes that I've enjoyed lately, muted, over 3 or 4 days. Throw schedules off, but I don't think you're going to be lacking for the Mattel toys and all of that. If it goes on for 2 or 3 weeks, the impact on the economy obviously grows, and I think grows exponentially.
And so then it becomes an issue for how Wall Street markets are looking at the US economy or US companies that are affected by this.
Right, exactly. I mean, it's going to affect anybody. I mean, trade is such a huge part of the economy. Now, some of the economy has started to shift. I mean, we've seen some really interesting numbers. I had in my newsletter the other day that imports into Charleston, South Carolina, not the biggest port in the country by any stretch, but still a significant import, was going down. It's been going down. It fell in August. In the meantime, boxes going into LA, Long Beach, into Seattle have been up 40% year over year and growing 9 to 10% from month to month. So clearly, we hear anecdotally, and clearly we're seeing in the numbers that people are shipping away from the East Coast right now.
Yeah, I think that's been in stream for a lot of the year. People have had this on the radar. Is it going to happen was the big thing, and now it looks like it will. What are the political implications, just quickly, Paul? Are Democrats hand-tied here, do you think?
Look, President Biden has already said he doesn't intend to invoke the Taft-Hartley Act, which is the federal law that allows him to intervene in strikes. The pressure for that to happen is going to grow. He's got a very tough political situation. It's a dance here. He's a very pro-union president, but in fact, he'll be faced with a situation where he's got something that's going to affect the economy, hurt the economy in the weeks leading up to the presidential election. So there's going to be a lot of pressure for him to act. Anyone who knows what will happen, I have to say, doesn't really know what they're talking about. Obviously, these are pressures.
When we talk about this, it's mainly framed when we look at imports for retailers, for manufacturers. Agricultural exporters aren't happy as well. Many of them are maybe facing higher tariff regimes at some point down the road. Many sell to China. This is a big blow to them as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, this is going to upset capacity. There are a lot of supply chains. Basically, the U.S. is divided up at the Mississippi. So things going off the West Coast, going a lot through Oakland, through Seattle, these things are going to continue. But there's an entire swath of the American economy that ships out from the East Coast and the Gulf Coast. Those companies are going to have a lot of trouble. You can't really redirect an export supply chain as easily as you can, I think, an import supply chain. I mean, these are, in many cases in the U.S., low commodity goods, farming goods, agricultural stuff. And so they're going to have a hard time getting that stuff out.
Paul Page, Bureau Chief of the Wall Street Journal's Logistics Report. Thanks for joining me today on the Freight Buyers Club.
Thank you, Mike.